This is Ecuador. Straddling the equator, Ecuador's rich cultural history is magically set against the backdrop of the rugged Andes and the lush rainforest. For a nature lover like me, this is a dream come true. I feel like I'm in Europe. Known locally as the middle of the world, the city of Quito is home to the Equator Museum. Mixing anthropology, geography, science, and fun, it's the first destination of my journey. Off to the equator! I thought it was just going to be some sort of monument, but it was actually a full-on museum. When you first walk in, you get to see this area where it shows you all of the animals and creatures you can find in the Amazon. There was this massive stuffed boa constrictor in this glass cage underneath. I thought that creeped me out. And then the man introduced the shrunken heads. That's a shrunken head. The most shocking thing of all was seeing the shrunken sloth head. I don't really know how I feel about that. We finally headed to the actual equator. Then our tour guide started to explain to us both hemispheres and the rotation of the world. The coolest part was that we actually got to partake in a bunch of experiments. The first one was that we basically filled a tub full of water and placed it on the southern side of the equator, where all of the water went clockwise down the drain. When we moved it just a foot over to the northern side of the equator, all the water went counterclockwise down the drain. And when we placed it on the equator, there was no rotation at all. Our tour guide then asked us to step off of the equator onto the northern side, and we put our fingers together like this, and he tried to rip them apart.
I'm gonna try to open your fingers, so you don't let me.
We used all of our strength to keep them together.
Good job.
Then we put our arms out like this, and he tried with all of his strength to pull them down while we held them up. When we moved on to the equator, we put our fingers together, and in a second he was able to rip them apart.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa. What? It was like I had no strength anymore. And then I put my arms out again like this, and in a second he was able to push my arms down.
You push up, I push down. 1, 2, 3.
Where's my strength? It's crazy. As soon as I was standing on the equator, I had no balance, no strength. It was the most bizarre thing. Off to the Amazon. Ecuador is home to the Amazon rainforest, the world's largest and most biodiverse of its kind. Called the lungs of our planet, about 20% of Earth's oxygen is produced here. Free the Children works in both the Amazon and the Andes Mountains. So I just arrived here at the Minga Lodge in the Amazon, where I will be staying for the next few days. Minga is the Quechua term for a community rallying together to complete a common goal. I can't imagine a more perfect name. It looks right over the Amazon River, and at dinner time the sun sets right in front of you. Wow. Whoa, that's not so bad. I'm gonna sleep outside instead. We started out the day by going on a jungle hike. I'm excited to hopefully see some snakes. I was a little scared at first. I didn't know what to expect because all I was thinking about are the bugs and the animals. I know, why did that move? I mean, in the Amazon, you just expect that a snake or tarantula is gonna pop out at you at any moment. We were led on our jungle hike by our tour guide named Mauricio. I like to say that he is one with the jungle.
Whenever he feels like an insect is moving, he will just open and then pull it in very quickly.
I couldn't have felt any safer having Mauricio guide us through the jungle. As we kept walking, we were walking along, and Mauricio just stops. And I had no idea what he was doing, but he reached into the leaves and pulled out one big brown leaf. But there was a little pygmy frog, which is the world's tiniest frog. It was literally the exact same color as the ground and the leaf. I have no idea how he spotted it. Next up was something I was super excited for, which was weapons training. But before that, I needed to look like a warrior. He started painting traditional warrior paint all over my face. All of these symbols represented my personal strengths and all of my relations to the jungle.
So the sun, the rainbow, and M that any tribe or anybody can recognize you who you are by the first letter of your name.
Ta-da! He then brought out two types of weapons. One was a blowgun, used for killing smaller animals, and then he had these huge spears that were used for killing the bigger animals.
If you guys can see over there, there is a target, and we're gonna shot from here. This is gonna be the line. Put your lips in it and close the hole, and then blow.
The blow dart gun was actually pretty fun. Basically, we stuck these sticks into the front of it, and as I closed my eyes and aimed at our target, which was a papaya, on 3 I just blew. And it was weird, because at first you don't even see it come out, because the blow dart gun is so long. I tried it a few different times. He makes it look a lot easier than it is, but I'm working on it. I'm almost there. And after a while, I finally hit the target. Yay! I'm a pro. Using the spears were a little bit more challenging. The biggest ones were so heavy. When you're throwing the spears, the idea is that you throw it right up so it comes right back down. And it is the hardest motion to grasp, because I feel like when I threw it, it would just go straight and then I would just land in a pile of leaves. It's really hard to get them to go straight up and come straight back down.
It was in the great direction. You did a great job, eh?
Thank
so
you.
So now we gotta go for lunch, and I have a surprise for you for lunch, okay?
What do you mean? I didn't really know what to expect because he had this evil grin on his face. As I was roasting a plantain over the open fire, Mauricio came over with this green-like leaf that he gave me, and he told me to listen to it to see if I could guess what was inside. What is it? In that moment, I knew it could not be good. Oh my goodness. When I saw what was inside, I was shocked.
What is that?
These big, thick, slimy bugs.
Oh, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. What do you expect me to do with that?
You have this thing over here that you said is you have to eat it.
Eat it.
Eat it and then bite.
You're
Okay.
lying.
There.
Oh my god!
I actually can't. Oh my god.
I had to step outside of my comfort zone and try something I never thought I could do.
Oh, so gross talking about it.
It's important, he said, that you bite off the head first and as soon as you put it in your mouth because it could bite you first. This entire process of eating the live bug probably took me about 20 minutes.
I don't even know how to get into the mindset.
One, two, go. Done.
I think I killed it.
I could just hear the noise and I could feel the crunch and I instantly hesitated, thinking I cannot do this.
Just
Oh!
press the hat again.
Ah! Ah!
Don't pull it, don't pull it. Keep it there, keep it
I'm
there.
gonna do it.
All I could feel was just like the guts and the inside squirting all over my mouth. It was so gross.
Now what?
And then chew it. Chew it.
Oh my god, this is so gross.
When I finally finished the whole live bug, I was pretty proud of myself.
It is. You can do it.
I definitely had to step out of my comfort zone, and I'm really glad that I did. I knew I would have regretted not doing it. Ugh. After that, Mauricio said that he was going to cook these bugs with salt and we could try them. We ate them and they were surprisingly so good. Cooked, I could have eaten them all day. They tasted almost like bacon or scallops. I actually really enjoyed them. So right now we are headed to the Free the Children community of Bella Vista that I'm so excited to finally visit because we are gonna help with building the school. For anyone who loves adventure, this is a dream come true. There is nothing better than floating down the Napo River as you enter the mighty Amazon. I arrived at Bella Vista and was immediately surrounded by amazing kids from the community. Their smiles were contagious and the perfect motivation for us to get to work on the school they would soon be filling. So much love. A lot of work needed to be done and I was put on saw duty. Sawing off the wood was a lot harder than it looked. Start with what?
Oh, this is hard work.
I worked at it for about 20 minutes, but once that piece of wood finally fell off, it felt so rewarding to be a part of this process.
Yeah!
Excellent.
Awesome. Can I play?
As the day came to an end, it was pretty difficult to say goodbye because they were so much fun to play with.
Adios! Adios, mi pequeño niño.
And these are the most important moments on a meet-a-wee trip. Forming those relationships not only with trip participants, but with members of the community, that's what's important. My day was life-changing, but the best was still yet to come. The wind was nuts. I thought I was gonna get blown off this mountain. Each day in Ecuador brought with it a lifetime of experience, and what came next was nothing short of awesome. Today we're heading out to the province of Chimborazo, but first we have an exciting stop to make. We stopped to visit a women's group where they showed us everything that they do in their daily life to support them and their families. The first thing that I tried was sheep shearing. Basically, they lay the sheep down on the ground, hold its head down, and then while you lean over, all with scissors, you just cut as close as you can to the skin. The next thing that I tried was knitting. I sat down with this 15-year-old girl. I found out that she was actually subbing in for her mom, who couldn't be there that day. So that just goes to show you how all of the women in this area just totally have each other's backs. This is the top of Mount Chimborazo peeking out from the clouds. It's so beautiful. This massive inactive volcano has been out of commission for nearly 1,500 years. Fun fact, it's actually the closest point to the sun on Earth. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain, but because the Earth isn't a perfect sphere, Mount Chimborazo is our closest point to space. After experiencing a day in their shoes, it was time to say goodbye and head off to San Miguel. Once we reached San Miguel, I was blown away. There was a 2-story school, a computer lab, a library, a playground. It was amazing. I had a little fan following me around. Her name was Sarah.
Me llamo Michelle. ¿Cómo se llama? Sarah.
Sarah was one of the younger children in the community. She didn't have much to say, but we sat there with a lot of smiles and high fives, and we had a good time.
She's cute as anything.
One of the girls, Carmen, asked me if I wanted to come to her house, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. And I walked in through the door, and there were guinea pigs everywhere. Carmen works with her mother in this little hut, and she sells all of these guinea pigs, mainly to tourists, also to support her education. This again showed me how much drive and initiative these girls have. They're out here working to support their education. And to me, that's truly inspirational.
Say hello. Hola.
One of the most unexpected surprises was visiting the community of Schweid. Schweid is located nearly 4,000 meters above sea level in the Andes. When we first got out of the car, the wind was nuts. I thought I was gonna get blown off this mountain. As I stood there, I kept trying to find any balance, but the wind was so loud and so crazy and blowing in my face and blowing in my hair. My hair was full of dirt and I felt like I had a thick layer of dirt on my face. I just wanted to pull one of those open in the wind, but I couldn't. I still couldn't catch my balance and I was just falling all over the place. It was nuts. And all of a sudden, we could hear in the distance kids laughing and playing in the classroom. So we decided to check it out, and when I peeked my head in, the classroom was full of smiling faces.
¿Cómo se llama?
Oh, ¿no llama? It was really eye-opening to see a community with such isolation and so little resources be so appreciative and thankful of what they did have. The view from the top of Schweid overlooked all of these other beautiful mountains in Chimborazo, and it was breathtaking. It was just something that I knew I had to take in before leaving. I could have stayed there forever. It was a perfect last visit before heading back to the Amazon.
We have to be quiet the whole time.
After an incredible few days in Ecuador, I couldn't believe that it was coming to an end. I savored every minute and wished that I could relive it all over again. Today, we ventured into the jungle for a shaman visit.
This view makes that hike worth it.
It was a totally unique cultural experience. When we first got there, Mauricio introduced us to this man with feathers on his head and told us that this was the shaman. The shaman is someone who heals people from their spiritual, mental, and physical illnesses using all natural ingredients from the jungle. We all sat down on this bench with our eyes closed.
We have to be quiet the whole time.
And then he lit this tobacco and started blowing it all in and around our heads to clear our minds of all bad energy. And then he grabbed a bad energy plant. He used this and waved it all in front of us and behind us to clear us of any negative energy in our bodies and our minds. When the shaman was finished, he told us to all slowly open our eyes. And as I did, I felt, refreshed. The shaman visit was awesome. I feel so relaxed and cleansed. We headed back to Bay Vista to do a little bit more work on the school, but I also really wanted to say bye to all my new little friends. The highlight was that we put the last truss up on the roof. Myself and a few other people from the group lined up almost like we were about to play tug-of-war, and we all just started pulling on this rope to help pull the last truss up onto the roof. At that moment, I couldn't help but think about all the kids in the community, how this school will change their lives and the small role that I played in that. It's something that I know I will never forget. Then something caught my attention.
There's some really loud music playing over there.
I heard some music playing off in the distance, so I asked Mauricio if he could take me to see what it was. We walked down this gravel path, and then I turned a corner, and all of a sudden, the music started getting louder. It sounded like someone was doing karaoke in their house. And there were a bunch of kids everywhere. They were all dancing. All these women were cooking. It was a crazy vibe. The man who was hosting the party actually invited us into his home. It was really cool to see what the traditional house looks like. The kitchen was a very dark room. It had one window and then a bunch of pots and pans lined up on the counter with an open fire right in the middle of the room. As soon as we walked into the bedroom, I had to stand there and take it in for a minute. There's just an open hole in the wall for a window, and everything again is made out of wood, and it's just one cot on the ground. Then this girl came out with this bright yellow bottle of nail polish. I knew what she wanted and I knew what it meant. So she sat down on the bed and I started painting all her toenails, and then as soon as I was finished, we left the house and I was pulled out onto their dance floor, and their dance moves are hilarious. All the boys are just kind of standing in the corner moving, and all the girls were grabbing my hands almost like Ring Around the Rosie. It was so much fun. I could have stayed there all day. After a really cool afternoon, it was time to say bye to them. I had totally mixed feelings about this because they had made me so happy this afternoon and taught me so many things about the importance of family and community and celebration and all of these things, but at the same time it was sad to be saying bye and know that these are probably kids I won't see again. They say that life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. My Midway trip to Ecuador proved that to be true. I found myself stepping outside of my comfort zone daily, and by the end of the trip, craving even more. I saw and experienced things that I would have never found at home, and therefore learned life lessons that I'll keep with me forever. I did not think that I would survive out here in the Amazon, or that I could hop on that plane, but I did, and I'm so happy that I did. We always think that we have time, but the time for adventure, the time for change, and the time to live your life is now.